Quick little sound check here. Can anyone hear me? Looks like I'm good. Wait, what the heck? I run the stream on my phone so that I can keep up with chat in case I have to step away. I think that was running through my Bluetooth headphones. Guess I forgot to turn those off. Well, in any case though, hope everyone is doing well. It's been quite a day today. We have had what very well could have been one of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall over the Atlantic today with Melissa. We had her clocked in at a category 5 with winds up to 185 and a central low pressure of 892 millibars. So yesterday when we were doing the live discussion, I kind of knew I wasn't going to have a chance to cover the landfall live because I was going to be at work. Even then, I was still trying to make it work by getting my tablet set up. Unfortunately, I failed. I was close at one point, and then, trying to use Streamlabs again, which has caused me a lot of grief in the past. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And that's just putting it lightly. It was very frustrating. But in yesterday's discussion, we were talking about whether or not it would have made it to sub 900. Of course, those of you that were there and voted yes, good call. I mean, with the structure that we were seeing out of it, it doesn't surprise me that we got it there. But to see it strengthen all the way up to landfall, which is actually really rare, this kind of says a lot about the environment that was the Caribbean. And there are some other details that we're going to get into a little bit later. So we'll talk about that there. Hi, Mia. Hell of a day we've had. Hell of a day it's been. And even now, as we look at the 8 o'clock advisory, I think we have a category 3 at this point now. That was a 5 o'clock advisory that we're looking at there. This is the 8 o'clock advisory. I'm going to pull that up on my screen so you guys can see. It's been a rough week for a lot of us. It's been a very rough week. A lot of people are catching it from the hurricane. I've been catching it on my end, so trust me, I get it. So let me go ahead and get this going here, and we'll get into the discussion side of things. Because unfortunately, this doesn't end with Jamaica. It actually continues with Cuba, even the Bahamas, and maybe even Bermuda. And then there's even, remember, hurricane season has also, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Crap. Dang. Yeah, I wish I could tell you what I got going on, but that matter is not to be mentioned here on YouTube. So another thing we're going to do here, by the way, is we're going to get the smaller picture of WeatherWise's satellite here, so that way you guys can still keep up with the structure of the storm. There aren't too many cameras left over that are working in Jamaica right now, so kind of pointless to show you the feeds. There's only maybe 1 or 2 that I have found. The harbor is the one that I'm surprised that is one I'm probably most surprised by, getting through the entire storm without losing power. But a lot of the other ones here, no dice. I'm very impressed, honestly, that some of these, that this made it at all. But here you can see the camera there. Still rolling, still kicking, but still pretty ugly out there right now. It's probably going to be that way for a while. At least the storm's forward speed is picked up. But now that we talked about that, jeez, I get always having this little phlegm I'm battling with. Now that we've talked about that, let's go ahead and talk about the latest with Melissa. Melissa is currently a Category 3, 125 miles an hour, 125 mile per hour winds. It's just dropped under Category 4 strength as of right now. Still a major hurricane at this point, and now we're setting our sights on eastern Cuba here towards Guantanamo Bay and other various areas. Then we also have hurricane warnings now in effect for the Bahamas here, and tropical storm warnings for Turks and Caicos. This is expected to make its way back up to Category 4 strength. I don't think this is the newest piece of data here. I think this is actually old, maybe? I don't know if the hurricane hunters, as of right now, are on a mission with this thing at this time. I have to actually go ahead and check. Yep, they are en route now, so we'll get some new data later tonight from this. But, excuse me. But from what I can see here, they haven't gotten towards the eye wall of the storm at this point. Now, here's a crazy statistic about this storm, and this is also just a display of how powerful it is. There were a couple of different occasions when it was at its peak intensity when they were doing reconnaissance missions into the storm, the hurricane hunters, where they actually couldn't do the typical 4 passes that they would do over the eye wall because the turbulence was so bad it actually damaged the airframe. At times they were catching gusts above 200 miles an hour when Melissa was at its peak. To put it in perspective for you, Melissa basically had EF5 tornado gust, which is crazy. And I'm really concerned about how many people did or did not take shelter in Jamaica, because from what I was hearing from reports, and I'm concerned about this particularly because this was literally as the storm was starting to make landfall. There were only about 6,000 people from the island nation that were actually in what nearly, I think it was 900 storm shelters, only 6,000 people. It's not a lot. It's about, maybe, if my math is correct, 10 people, maybe not even 10 people per shelter. That's really concerning. I'm really hoping these people took the storm seriously. I hope somehow the damage is minimal. But considering what we saw, I find that to be unfortunately unlikely. And I always try to be positive. I always try to keep things relatively positive here, but very honest. And in this case here, it could be a pretty ugly situation over there. But as you can see here, by the time we expect landfall tomorrow, which would actually be overnight tonight, maybe I could sneak and cover this in the morning if I go to bed at a decent enough time. We're expected to be back at Category 4 once again with 135 mile per hour winds. It's more than troublesome at this point. Dang, I just can't seem to get rid of that phlegm today. Sorry about that, by the way, folks. Let's go back and look at the intensity here. Fortunately, as we continue to go forward, we're not expected to see this hang around at Category 4 strength for too long. I would say at this point, the mountains and the terrain over Cuba is going to slow things down, even though we would really want that to be more so over towards the center of the island nation, because there's more mountains there and it would have weakened it further. But we'll still likely see a Category 3, probably a mid-grade Category 3, as we get over the next 24 to 36 hours as it's heading over the Bahamas, and then we go ahead and watch this kind of weaken as it's pushing towards Bermuda. Well, Bill, It's been a day. We haven't had. Unfortunately, I couldn't cover this when the storm was at peak intensity and during its landfall. I was at work at the time. I was watching from there, and I was even trying to find a way to get my tablet to do a live stream, but unfortunately that didn't work out. So here we are, kind of discussing what's next. I don't know if I'm going to do a Cuba live stream, only because of the fact that I don't really have much in the way of resources available to me from over there. There are no live feeds that I can access immediately that would allow me to do that. And then on top of that, the timing would be overnight tonight, and then I still have to work in the morning as it stands right now. If we somehow end up getting rained out, which I highly doubt, then maybe we could talk about that. But at the very least, I'm going to try. Bryce and Jeff were there. All Eyewall was west of them. I've been seeing some pictures. It's been intense. Obviously, the pictures aren't mine, so I'm not cleared to show them on here. I'm honestly surprised that even to the east, some of those cameras are still up and running. Almost all of the cameras from Jamaica at this point are down. Also, again, I want to say shout out to Jamaica for allowing us to use the feeds over the last few days, over these last 2 days here. Hey, Shiori. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Just a reminder, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you could. That would definitely help the stream. It's been an interesting few days, that's for sure. Watching this storm break records, and we're not even finished with it yet. They put Bermuda under hurricane watch now. I think I don't know if that was on the 5 o'clock advisor or if it was on this one. Maybe I can look at the archive. Yep, I sure can. No? Okay, maybe not. So that's the forecast advisory. These are written advisories. These are not, wait, let me see. Yep, all of it's written advisories. We don't get the graphic with it. Oh, wait. Hang on. No? Oops. I guess we can get that. Okay, so they issued it at 5, not at 8. I was right. Crazy to think we finally have gotten to the landfall here. So here's the interesting thing about that bill. The approach was where they were talking about this hurricane hanging around. Mainly due to the fact that it was moving so slow. So they were going to get you have to remember, the hurricane's always more than what the eye wall is. You always have those feeder bands that you're dealing with. And then, of course, you have the storm surge. It's those impacts that were going to be an extended duration event. And even though the eye wall has cleared out and gotten back over water, you're still dealing with the backside of the storm. You're still dealing with winds. And now you're still dealing with the rain at this point. The worst of the storm surge threat is over. But still the wind and the rain and a few even remnant tornadoes can't be ruled out from the backside of the storm, although I would consider it to be a lot less likely. You really would see more of that from the right front quadrant, but even so, it's not over for Jamaica just yet. They're far from done. Really, they're not going to stop seeing heavy rain probably until maybe Thursday. In Haiti, poor old Haiti here, they've been seeing rain since last week, and they're still getting rain even now. So really, that was always the concern. No, that would be even worse. That would probably be a saving grace for like Cuba and the Bahamas, but nah, that trough wouldn't have allowed it because if the trough had caught it earlier, it would have been moving faster from the beginning. Mm. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what's next as far as some of the reports are going. I definitely remember seeing a lot of people not taking this storm all too seriously. Yeah, it's gonna be less strength. Cuba's still gonna get hit though. It's gonna still come in pretty hot. It's gonna be a category 4 still. So all those areas over towards Guantanamo Bay, for example, they're still really gonna catch it pretty bad. Hey, Marcy. But yeah, Cuba's gonna get it pretty bad, and it looks like South Central Bahamas is gonna get it pretty bad too. The worst might be we might be able to avoid the worst for Turks and Caicos, but now at this point we even have to look at Bermuda before all is said and done. So this storm is definitely going to leave its mark here. So let's also talk about some of the records that were broken with this. So if we were to look at satellite imagery, especially during the storm's peak, well, I'll say this much. The US and Cuba, we don't have the best relations. It's been that way for quite a while. So information's going to be limited. Hey, Justin. So yeah, information on that's going to be limited. Me personally, I would love to cover the storm. I mean, I'm trying to look past everything with that. But yeah. Bryce's bill. Everybody, just make sure you're hitting that like button, by the way, if you could. Definitely would appreciate it. Appreciate you all coming in either way. But what I was saying though with Cuba, yeah, we don't have the best relations with them, so I don't have access to a lot of the stuff there. Yeah, Bryce is in Jamaica. Yeah, Bryce is in Jamaica. Let me stop this loop here. What was I doing? It's okay, Marcy. It's okay. I think a lot of us have had a long day and a long week. I tried to see if there was a way I could even do a live stream to cover the landfall, but that wasn't going to happen. My tablet just is not powerful enough, apparently, to run that. It would have had to have been a laptop. And then on top of that, it was a chaotic day at work, too. Come into the our work truck being our work truck's battery being dead. So there was that. And then Just kind of just dealing with the day as normal. So yeah, it's just a lot. It was just a lot on our plate. I definitely hope that I can find some archives when it comes to the satellite data. I'm sure I will. So here's something interesting that we're coming to find, though. We got it looks like the eye's starting to open back up here. It definitely looks to me like that eye is opening back up. So we're probably going to see this strengthen within the next advisory or two. Yep, she's back over the water. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at the waters over towards Cuba right now. Okay, not North Atlantic. We need West Atlantic. Oh, yeah, look at that. Water's right over here. Hotbed. Yeah, so this, like I said, this could try and make a pretty good push into Category 4. I don't see it going to 5. But still, a major hurricane can do a lot of damage. We've seen it plenty of times in the past. Shoot, even as it goes into the Bahamas, I don't really think it's going to lose a whole lot of steam here. The main thing I'm interested is kind of looking at the topography for eastern parts of Cuba. There's mountainous terrain. Maybe it could slow it down a little bit more. It does look like there are a few. Dang, this thing takes 1,000 years to do anything, huh? Yes, I'm a human being. I'm currently live streaming as a human being, too. Showing my face on camera. Thank you very kindly. I wouldn't say that. There was a reported tornado today over... There were a couple actual reported tornadoes today over towards the Texas-Louisiana line. And don't get me wrong, I get AI's pretty wild, but yeah, I'm human. Oh, after today? I still gotta do videos on that. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule out a couple other opportunities. It might slow down. How you're trying to figure out what to wear for Halloween? I don't know what I'm gonna do for Halloween, if anything at all. I genuinely don't know what I would do. I mean, it's on Saturday, so maybe I don't know. Probably won't go out. Eh. No, thank you. Y'all don't want to see that. Y'all wouldn't be ready for that. Oh, you have a party to go to? Yeah, I don't right now as it stands. Would really love to have gone to a concert, but I don't really know of anything going on in the city at this moment in time. I wish I could see just what exactly... Okay, there are mountains on the eastern half of the country, so we can confirm that now. Yeah, no birthday suits here, that's for sure. Okay. So it looks like we get an increase in elevation here, so that is going to help kind of tear that storm apart a bit more. With a lot of drunk people. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go to anything. I'll probably just be at home watching football anyway. That's usually what I do. Yeah, that's probably what I'll end up doing. Either that or I'll play some guitar and work on music. Shoot. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Maybe I'll play on Licity or Twisted. I don't know if I'll do like a member stream or not. Depends on if any of the members want me to do that, but apparently none of my members have been watching the members only videos. Or at least that's what YouTube says. So, I don't know, man. I'll find something to do, I'm sure. That much I do know. Okay, so I guess while we're at it here, I'm trying to figure out what to do next here because I don't. I want to try to get. I want to try to stretch this stream to be about an hour long. I guess since you guys are here, maybe we could look at some weather models anyway. I mean, I know it's probably going to be slow, but there's going to be some places that are going to get pretty daggone cold because if we were to go back to weather-wise here, just give me 1 second. Any word on fatalities? Not as of late. I already know there were at least 3 already within Jamaica, and there were others that were in Haiti, Dominican Republic at this time. So I think we're sitting at about maybe 7 or 8. But that was way earlier today. I haven't heard anything new as of yet. And I've been kind of checking socials intermittently to see if I could get more information, but so far I haven't had any dice. I mean, also that storm's still ongoing. Yeah. I remember just as I was getting ready to head to work, I was looking at the feed for that little flat bridge that's over the river. I had said that I had pointed out that that was already underwater, and that was before the eye wall had come ashore, so I can only imagine what it looks like now. So where... Yeah, there's been plenty of evidence of significant damage already. That much I do see. Yeah, I'm surprised that the harbor feed did as well as it did. The harbor feed's good. What else was there? Let me pull that back up. So yeah, this is the harbor feed right here. That's still up and running. And then I think there might have, and then like you said, there might have been 2 others. I know everything over here to the east is pretty much cooked for right now. There's no power at all. I think there was one downtown area that might be still running. I don't know if it was St. Andrew. Nope. That one's down. Maybe it's Crossroads. Yep, it's Crossroads that's still running. And then there was like one other. I think it might be Kingston. It might be Kingston itself or New Kingston. Yep. It's these three right here. And that's it. Maybe this one might be back. Nope. Yeah, anything else is pretty much gone. And even so, they're still getting smacked right now. Just because the eye wall's cleared out doesn't mean it's over just yet. They're still getting some pretty strong winds on the backside of this. Nothing like what they were getting before, but still. But yeah, I just did another sweep through socials here, and I have not heard of anything new in regards to fatalities or damage. But some of the images that I'm seeing are pretty new now, and it's astonishing to say the least. Alright, so I guess while we're at it, let's talk about some of the records that we have heard in regards to Melissa here. So some of these may matter to those of us who are weather enthusiasts and influencers, and then there are going to be some other records that are more significant to the general public. So I'm going to start out with the obvious one, and that obvious one is being this very likely, and I say it probably is, but we still have to get that little bit of we still have to get a little bit of info left. We still have a little bit of left. Yeah, I cannot speak. A little bit of we still got a little bit of info left to gather right at the time of landfall, but I'm almost certain that this is the strongest hurricane to ever make landfall in the Atlantic. Strongest central lower pressure. I can't verify if it's the strongest ones we've ever had, but the central low pressure of 892, I think that's a record at landfall. I know it's in the top 5 in regards to overall lowest pressure ever registered in the Atlantic. I think Wilma might have the record, if I'm correct. I know it's in the top 5, possibly within the top 3. Then the other thing, of course, and this is what you were mentioning, dry eye. It is by far the driest eye wall, central eye or central part of the circulation that we've ever had. It broke the record, and then it broke its own record 2 more times after that, which is unheard of. That eye wall is really starting to clear out. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of scary. Look at that. Look at how quickly that's clearing out. Thankfully, this is moving at a decent clip now. It's moving at about 8 miles an hour. Still kind of slow, but not nearly as bad as what we had earlier, where it was moving at 2-3 miles an hour. Hey, don't tempt her with that, Justin. She might actually do it. She might actually get it. And if she does, then we got an even bigger problem on our hands if you're in Cuba. Anywhere from Biamo to Holguin, Cueto, Mela, all the way to Guantanamo. This looks like it might be pretty ugly in its own right still. I wonder what's happening over there. Why are those lights on? Yeah, I'm still looking at all the images that are coming in on my socials. That's wild. Yeah, she's definitely got a mind of her own. Because really, a lot of people have been saying hurricane season is dead. There's one person who I actually had to mute on here. They're salty about that, too. They're salty about the fact that I muted them because they said hurricane season was dead, but this was before Melissa had happened. Because I had been saying all season that if anything like this would reform in the Caribbean, we would see some madness come out of this. And what happened? People get mad. I don't understand why people, I'll never understand why people would get mad at me for doing tropical outlooks and tropical updates all the way to the end of hurricane season. I mean, that's just what you're supposed to do, but hey. We're not even really just mad, but just, the fact that you're out here just whining about the fact that I'm not talking about your area when there's nothing even going on over the lower 48 in general. Just blows my mind. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there's a couple other records that were made to be broken. Yeah, I don't really pay him any mind. Yeah, there's a lot going on over the lower 48 that's not severe weather related. That's the interesting thing. Like we have freeze warnings in effect, just as you mentioned, over towards Arizona. It also stretches into parts of the Texas Panhandle now. We have widespread wind advisories from this next trough that's going to be coming in. It's not going to be a big severe weather producer, but it is going to cause its own share of problems. We're probably going to start to see those strong winds even come into my area within the next couple of days. And that's going to actually make my job harder because I'm a lawn care technician at my job, basically. So, well, mainly aeration, but I also apply seed and other various stuff onto yards. And that has to be applied with the spreader. That has to be applied with chemicals that are dispersed through hoses, etc. So you factor all that in, and you have like a 30-mile-per-hour gust coming into play. Things can get chaotic pretty quick. Yes, I'm actually still in my work shirt. Yep, I'm a landscaper essentially, but I'm more of a lawn care technician instead of like the general maintenance guy. At this point in time, I don't cut grass. If anything, I apply chemicals. I do aeration, that kind of stuff right now. I'm still actually trying to work on getting my pesticide license once I would get hired full time. How you doing, Rob? For your backyard? And you're in Arizona, so I know that the conditions there are a bit different. I would have to do a little bit of research and then get back to you on that because I know the type of grass there is going to be a little different than what we would have over here. Unless you're not going with grass, then I could give you some thoughts there. I like the name, by the way, the Rob Bob channel. It's pretty cool. Alright, so I'm trying to make sure that I've gotten all the records in. Well, Rob, so I'm just gonna be frank with you. It's not looking great. I think the eye's ultimately gonna end up missing Guantanamo directly, but you're gonna end up seeing a lot of action towards the right front quadrant, and that's usually where some of the strongest storm surge would be. But if they're inland and north of Guantanamo, it's not going to be quite as bad there. High winds are still going to be likely. I wouldn't even rule out a couple of tropical tornadoes being possible. But I'd say the biggest threat for them would most likely be flooding. Yeah, that's kind of the point I was getting at, Shiori. I just don't really know a whole lot about Arizona in regards to whatever grass you can get and whether or not it would even survive out there. I mean, it's a little different out here. The types of grass that we have out here in Georgia, especially up towards the northern half of the state, the three most common grasses, well, let me say four actually. Four most common grasses: St. Augustine, Bermuda, zoysia, and fescue. But it's a little tricky with fescue. You have to have fescue in shaded areas because that's actually a cold season grass, whereas the other three are a little bit more warm season. St. Augustine, actually, it's a really weird, complicated situation as to how you even get it. Oh, wow. I'm starting to see more damage coming in. Okay, so desert landscape in the front yard, cacti and rocks, gators on the loose. Wow, there's a lot going on there. I'm starting to get. Well, Rob, I'm actually combing social media right now. I can't show it directly on here, so in fear of my stream being taken down, because I obviously don't have rights to the videos. I didn't shoot them, but I'm starting to see new images coming in, and the damage is pretty severe. Significant flooding, of course, storm surge damage, high wind damage looks likely. Looks like it's occurred here as well, so pretty serious stuff, unfortunately. Well, I'll be honest, the National Hurricane Center has been pretty spot on. It's been a really hard forecast, mainly due to the track, due to the wobbles that this thing has been doing. But for the most part, it's stayed relatively consistent. Maybe some slight changes are possible there. I would still expect the eye to stay to the west of Guantanamo at this point, because there's a lot of ebbs and flows that go into this as well, especially when it comes to the storm strengthening like it's expected to. Like, this is expected to make landfall as a category 4. It did weaken to a category 3 for a brief period, but we are expecting it to re-strengthen. Okay, we got that running still. But yeah, it's pretty much a given at this point that we're going to see a landfall in Cuba. It's it's pretty much unavoidable. There's no real way that we're going to see this not make a landfall simply due to the fact that there's going to be a trough up to the north that pulls that kind of continues to propel this thing off to the northeast on its current track right now. It's honestly the trough that pulled this thing into Jamaica, because it was actually moving at about maybe 2 miles an hour off to the west at one point. And then late last night, it made this turn off to the north here. You can kind of see it on the dotted line there. It took a little bit longer for it to occur, but that's ultimately what ended up happening here. And then once it would start that push off to the northeast, that's what it's expected to continue doing. The wind shear and the troughing that we're seeing over towards the Gulf, for example, is going to keep this away from the U.S. So we're not going to have any concerns for a direct impact as well. But Bermuda might have to be watchful of this also. I can show you on the weather models here. Give me a minute. Or give me just a moment. There we go. We were just looking at Cuba's topography. And that's also why my biggest concern for that area has a lot more to do with flooding. Is because those little valleys that are going to be on the bottom side of these mountains downstream, a lot of that rainfall is going to unfortunately pull up over there. But if I were to go ahead and take a look at the ensembles here, I'm going to have to change the region, obviously, to do this. Where is it? There it is. But this is our trough right here. Let me see if I can do this properly. There we go. But yeah, our trough is right here. This is going to keep the U.S. safe. Over here is where Melissa is. These upper level winds are going to help carry this storm essentially out this way and ultimately end up protecting the U.S. Then we have another trough that's kind of backing this trough that's here, way back here. This is going to move east, which further ensures that the northeast and also the mid-Atlantic will be safe, essentially. So no threat from the U.S. for Melissa, but it's pretty much going to have it sandwiched to where the only place it's going to go is going to be over towards Cuba and then over towards the Bahamas. There's literally nowhere else for it to go based off of the steering that we're going to be seeing, essentially. So our area is narrowed down. The real question is just how far will it, how far could it deviate? Yeah, it's unfortunate. Again, this is why you never stop covering hurricane season, even if it's in the middle of October when it's supposed to be quieter, because stuff like this can happen. I've been saying it all year. If anything were to develop over here towards this region, it would have been a problem. That's what I always say. And I've been into the weather for a long time. I've seen plenty happen over the time I've studied weather. I've spent more than 3/4 of my life into this, being into the weather and studying it, even though I haven't even gone to school for it completely. Like, I literally just do this because I want to. So that should tell you enough. furthermore, I also I also would say that there's some other factors that I want to look at as well before we call it a night here. I really wish that I had a way to get access to any sort of live feeds from Cuba, but unfortunately, it just doesn't really seem like that's possible right now. But this next little graphic I'm about to show you guys, I don't, I don't intend to have this as a way to startle anyone. But remember, hurricane season ends on November 30th, and if I look at the hazards worldwide, I want you to look closely as to where the area of interest is over towards the Atlantic. That seems a bit familiar, doesn't it? Don't get me wrong. It's about a 20% chance of development at maximum. But still, does lead me to have some intrigue. And then if I look really closely at the wind shear after that next trough clears out, notice things do kind of weaken a little bit over here. I don't think it would be enough to put the U.S. at risk. But maybe Central America might be a point of interest once again. I think with the way that that our stuff is set up right now, I think we're still safe over here. But I wouldn't rule out any of these areas here possibly dealing with something else. And it's not like those waters have cooled off entirely just yet. You would think that with a big hurricane like what we just had with Melissa would kind of take the edge off of the waters here. But if we're looking at the graphics of our sea surface temperatures, we're still well into the 90s. So there's still a window of opportunity. Hey, Blondie. Good to see you. I hope you caught that last part that I was talking about, cause this, like I said, I'm not one to scare. Really? Dang, YouTube, come on. YouTube has been doing me dirty lately with regular videos and streams. Because I've been hearing that a lot. Like, they have not been getting like, they've not been putting out notifications. Yeah. Thank goodness that works. If I relied on YouTube alone, where would I even be? But I don't know if you missed this part, Blondie, but look what we have here. That's interesting. It's not a high chance, but do need to watch that. On my what? On my CP? I mean, it's only a 20% chance, but still. Oh, community post. Yeah. Well, since this stream's about over, I probably won't do it this time. Next time I should definitely do that, though. Yeah, I think so too, actually. come to think of it, what do you guys think? You guys wouldn't mind if you guys wouldn't mind putting up with me for a little longer, would you? Because there is one thing I want to take a look at. If you guys, not, I wouldn't mind sharing it with you. We're both gonna kind of see it in real time. But if you guys don't mind, I'll show you what it is I'm trying to find here. Because I haven't looked at it in about a week. Hey, Elaine. But if I share this with you guys, one thing I want to make sure that I make clear here is that this is looking into the long range. So everything that you're seeing past this point is prone to changing. So just take it as this is what we're seeing right now, but be understanding that this could easily change. Okay. So here we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at the northern hemisphere. All right. So anyone that's wondering right now, we're looking at the northern hemisphere, and there's a couple areas, and there's 3 areas in particular that I'm looking for. I think there's a little bit of a latency issue there, Rob. I'm looking at it directly through my streaming platform. And I think there's a delay of about maybe 7 seconds in latency. There's not really any way to fix it. A lot of other streamers actually have the same problem as me with that. So my answers may come in delayed from time to time. And sometimes the chat messages even come in late too. So I'm trying to see if there's a better alternative that I have to work on it. But as of right now, I don't have anything. Like I literally look away and then sometimes I'll look away and I'll see a chat message come in too. So sometimes it's a little bit of human error as well, but for the most part, technology has not been doing me a whole lot of favors there. Yeah. Well, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at things. There's 3 areas that we're going to be looking at here on the map. Oh, read the question. Okay, that's what you meant. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't missing any questions. No, that's fair. That's fair. Uh, if that's what you guys prefer, then I'm happy to work on that. It's not an issue. But yeah, I was just trying to make sure I wasn't missing anything. All right, so looking at this map, there are several areas we're going to be paying close attention to. This area right here is the first one. Terrible circle, I know. I'm sorry. I'm not an artist on here. Yeah, that is true. That is true, Blondie. A lot of people do listen while working. Sometimes I do whenever I'm at work too, so I definitely understand that. So these are the 3 areas we're going to be watching the most for winter. These 2 are oscillations. And this is an area where I look for a particular feat, stratospheric heating. This is also an oscillation, but it's not quite as prominent. But whenever we start to get extreme warmth going on here from month to month here, there's usually a good signal that would lead to maybe a polar vortex or something along those lines occurring, which usually results in extreme cold. Well, yeah, yeah, I would have been live streaming around the same time as them, but today I couldn't get off of work, obviously, and then I got out of work late. Just the whole day has been kind of chaotic. I had to go check in on family as well. So, unfortunately, I didn't actually get to cover the landfall like I wanted to. I even tried to see if there was a way I could cover it while I was at work, but my tablet is not powerful enough, sadly. I don't have a laptop at this point anymore. And even then, I don't even know if my Wi-Fi would have been strong enough to give us a good enough signal to make that happen. So, kind of an unfortunate situation here. Oh, I don't know what's going on here, but I can't seem to get the markings to show up on screen. Well, I guess we got what we got then. We'll just have to make do. But yeah, these three areas are what we're going to be watching. Up here in the North Pole, around Greenland, and then this little area right here south of the Aleutians in Alaska as well. So if we go month to month here, the main things we're going to be looking at are these cold air masses. So right now, the interesting thing is we're in a warm phase. You haven't been seeing a whole lot from Jamaica. Well, the thing is, I think it's probably communication infrastructure. Because the few pictures that I have been seeing, the damage has been pretty significant. And I would lean towards more of it being communication infrastructure due to the fact that a lot of the live cams that everyone was using before the landfall, most of them are down. And that's saying something considering for those of you here that have been longtime subscribers, longtime viewers, y'all know I don't like to assume the worst, but considering everything that I've seen, it's kind of hard to go against that. Yeah, I've seen a good bit of damage already, and I'm sure we haven't seen the worst of it yet. The light of day hasn't really given us any true context as to what's going on. Not to mention, they're still dealing with the southern end of the storm. Time will only tell. I do know one thing, just based off of this first signal that we're seeing, we're going to see a nice little push of cold air at least come into the northern states by the time we get towards this first half of November. The second half might be a little warmer than average. December, I actually think, is going to be a bit of a wild card month. I don't know if you're still here, by the way, Justin, but it does look like we have a warm air mass settling in right over your area, so could be interesting in regards to your temperatures. It might be a little bit warmer than what y'all are used to. I don't really see anything that would lead me to be concerned with severe weather, though. At least not based off of the monthly outlook, but it's just something we'll have to keep an eye on. But those above average temperatures are always something to watch. If we do get any cold air that crashes up against that, we all know how that can go. We've seen it plenty of times. Now, this is probably the month that intrigues me the most right now. January has consistently been a month that really has kind of made me wonder Just what the heck could be going on? Yes. Yes, Marcy. Every hurricane goes counterclockwise here. Just like almost all tornadoes. I don't think we've ever had an anticyclonic hurricane. Or have we? Let me look at. Let me actually take a look at something real quick. Yeah, it's counterclockwise. Okay. Yeah, everything spins here counterclockwise on the northern hemisphere. It's the southern hemisphere where it spins clockwise. Well, well, Elaine, I would say that. Well, my brain isn't working right now. Um, well, that's not really a question, but yeah, we do. Yeah, January does seem like a time frame in which the time frame in which we would have ice storms. Of course, one thing to remember is this is looking at a 30-day span. So this isn't really giving me all the details here as to what we could get. And this is well beyond no man's land, as I like to call it. I don't even like forecasting anything past 200 hours out, let alone 300 plus. You're talking about thousands and thousands of hours out. One thing that does interest me is this cold air mass being up north here, coupled with this little warm air mass off to the south. Yeah, it's way, way too early to forecast. This is almost like more of a preview of what I'm doing right now. Yeah, if I were to try and forecast this right now, I'd probably give myself a migraine. I mean, it could be done, but I wouldn't have much faith in it, that's for sure. Yes, definitely a peek at what could come. Yeah, this is me kind of reacting to what I'm seeing in real time. I would really do better once we would get the next outlook, but that wouldn't be until like maybe mid-November before that happens. And that's probably going to be my final winter outlook, cuz I actually put out videos on that. Oops, there goes my hat. What could Arkansas be around Thanksgiving? That's a little bit easier to do. It's still kind of far out, but based off of what I'm getting, I would actually expect it to be warmer based off the trends I've seen. But yeah, don't worry about winter weather. In fact, from the looks of it, we have a pretty warm air mass that pops up over towards the eastern half of the country, especially over towards the southern states. It's still going to be a little cooler, but it could be warmer than average, though. That's just based off of some of the early model runs here. No kidding, you're a November baby as well. Uh, Rock and Rose. Or today is day 5 of rain for you. Well, considering how dry it's been, Elaine, I would prefer to see a little bit more in the way of rain here, especially. So if you don't want it, I will gladly take it. I will gladly take that. Uh, what was I gonna say? But yeah, as far as Thanksgiving's concerned, we're gonna stay above freezing. I can confirm that. Nice. My birthday is November 8th. So, a little over a week from now. Let me look at something really quick here, or let me actually shift the view again. Let's go to the CONUS view. Well, the thing is with me, my job kind of depends on that rain, Elaine. Because whenever it's dry like it's been over here, because we're actually in a drought where I live right now, it becomes really hard to do my job. Because right now we're in the middle of what's called aeration season. So we're trying to kind of break into that soil here so we can get some water and some oxygen into the soil. So we can grow new grass, or at least grow new winter grass for those who want it. So whenever we end up having drought and the ground gets really hard, makes our job a little bit more miserable, or really a lot more miserable. Thanks, Elaine. I appreciate that. Thank you, Marcy. But yeah, we're almost a shoe-in at this point based off what I'm seeing to be above average over towards most of the lower 48 by the time we get towards Thanksgiving. And it's likely how we're going to even start out December at this point. But these first couple weeks in November might be a little bit of a throw here. That first week in particular applies to some of you out in the Ozarks more. And then after that point, we warm back up towards the middle part of the month. Again, remember, we're looking into the long range, so there are some things that can and most likely will change with this. As far as our precipitation is concerned, I actually would expect things to kind of slow down as we get further along into the month. Six inches of rain over there this month. Nice. Thanks, Blondie. But yeah, that first week is going to be a little bit cooler for you. I think the worst of it's more towards where I live, so I think I'm taking the hit for you guys. I'm kidding. But on the bright side, if you aren't looking for moisture, it looks like it's going to be increasingly dry as we get towards the first couple weeks, and it kind of stays that way. Oh, I think the Southwest is just about done with the monsoonal pattern, Marcy. So I don't think you have anything else to worry about if your concern is flooding. Okay. Hey, Torex. Quite a day, huh? Quite a day today. Yeah, and it's not over yet. They're still dealing with the south side of that storm, and that's one thing that needs to be understood. So we're really not going to have a full scope of the damage just yet until probably maybe late tomorrow. I mean, if you look on satellite, it's pretty clear to me that we're not done. I'm honestly surprised we have any cameras still available over there right now. Dare I say impressed. That eye has literally begun to clear itself out. Holy cow. Oh, I'm over towards Atlanta, Georgia. There's like maybe two or three that are still up right now. The rest of them, the power's out. The one that I'm most surprised by being up still might be the harbor cams, but of course that's over towards the eastern side of the island. Yeah, that bridge was underwater first thing this morning. If that thing is still standing, I have to know what that thing's made out of. So this is where the awesome hangout for the after party is. Well, I mean, wasn't intended to be the after party, but you know, it just happened the way it did, you know? I'm just happy that y'all decided to stop by at the end of the day. I wanted to be live for the landfall because, I mean, that was historic. But unfortunately, I had to work. All the cool kids hang out with Ty. Well, I would like to think so. I was still watching it. Yeah, Torx. I was still watching the hurricane at work too. But I was actually trying to find a way to go live. My tablet, however, was not powerful enough to run it. To run Streamlabs and do screen capture at the same time. Oh wow. I can only imagine what he may see. But trust me, y'all, I was trying to be live, and then of course I was still gonna have this. I still was planning on having this discussion at some point. Cause I mean, even though I don't have the resources to probably go live for Cuba or anything, you know, I still wanted to try and do my part, you know. Then of course we do have access to something over the Bahamas. I've seen viewership analytics from Cuba, I think. Not much, but I would like to think yes. I don't know the entire situation over there, but I'm pretty sure they're able to. Then again, there's VPNs, so there's always a chance that somebody's using that to get it done. So, who knows? I've already tried. There's not really a whole lot available over there as of right now. Why that is, I can only imagine why. Oh wow. Well, we want to thank him for his work and I hope that and we all are praying for his safety. But yeah, I've been looking up cameras over Cuba though. I haven't seen much. Hey, Mama G. Yeah, yeah. And then on top of that, our relationship in general over towards Cuba is pretty complicated. But yeah, I haven't seen much in the way of cameras available over there. I'm still looking them up now, honestly. Our relationship with them hasn't really improved since the 60s, so there's that. That makes for an awkward discussion. Yeah, Melissa has been unbelievable. It's been kind of hard to kind of wrap my head around just how crazy this storm has been. She's playing by her own set of rules here. I really can't believe that this eye is clearing itself out again. I'm completely astonished. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a storm make landfall like it did at that kind of strength, clear its eye back out, never really lose a whole lot of steam. Yeah, some of the damage that I have seen has been pretty intense. Well, Justin, you asked earlier. I'm just now seeing this on social media. We're now up to we're now up to 13 in regards to fatalities. Yeah, the numbers involved with Melissa are it's ridiculous. Like it's so hard to keep up with everything. Like I said, the driest eye wall, it broke the record and then it broke its own record another two times after that. Sheesh. The lowest pressure ever, this probably has the lowest pressure ever recorded for a hurricane up to landfall. Probably the highest, maybe the highest wind speeds in all of the Atlantic as well. So there's that, and then we still don't even know the scope of the damage. And then there's a lot of people thinking that the winds were even stronger than 185. And then the most astonishing thing, if I'm being completely honest, was hearing the fact that one of the Hurricane Hunter planes couldn't complete all of its passes because the turbulence was so violent that it was actually damaging the airframe, and they had to return to base. It was too dangerous. Something tells me, unfortunately, that I think that's gonna rise. Wait, what? Wait, hang on a second. Blondie, what did you say? Matthew made it to Matthew from my radar made it to TMZ. Oh dear. Now I can only wonder. Oh, oh no, no, Matt. Ah, daggone it. Did he eat Waffle House before then? Is that why? No, you're supposed to eat pretty light before you fly in general, especially if you're gonna fly into something like that, where you know you're gonna be having dramatic changes in altitude. He did. Wait, Shiori. He did what now? Hang on. You mean to tell me he said that he could use it? He asked if he could use his waffle. This is amazing. This is amazing. That's amazing. He wanted Waffle House card as ID for TSA. What is this world coming to? You randomly got socked today. Not sick, Torex, but sock. Nope. We're gonna go with sock today, man. I'm sorry. We're going with sock. This is hilarious. I know that this is serious what's going on over Jamaica, but that is hilarious. I can't lie. But yeah, I do hope you get better soon, though, Torex. If you aren't already better. Hopefully it was just some weird thing that happened in passing. I saw another comment on here. Flooding in some houses was beyond the second story. Well, depending on where they are, between the storm surge and the mountains, that's actually quite believable. It is. It no, I believe you on that. I'm appreciative of it right now, especially. It was noodles. Well, yeah, it was about 13 to 15 feet of incoming water either way. But the other thing, and I think to a point, this might have been overlooked by some, is the fact that there are mountains in Jamaica towards the north side of the island. So those valleys that were going to be kind of funneled in, especially as the eye went right over, that was going to be where we would probably see the worst flooding. And then on top of that, it already had been raining long before the landfall. So that's really where I think the most damage got done was actually before landfall, possibly. Well, you're not really going to get storm surge maps from Jamaica. You aren't going to get the same kind of inundation and stuff like that. Yep. We watched the Flatbridge Creek fill up. Yep. And then before we knew it, by this morning it was underwater. The mountains are pretty tall. Yeah, that's about right. 7,000 feet in elevation, and then on the downslope, that's where we got some of the worst of the water. Yeah, yeah, Justin from yeah, I agree with you 100% on landslides. The Jamaican pole is still standing. Where exactly is that? Hmm. Oh, Montego Bay. Isn't Montego a little further off towards like the central part of the island here? Or is it more towards the east? Oh no, it's towards the northeastern. Yeah, I kind of figured that it wasn't gonna make it. I'm just surprised that there's still cameras over towards the eastern half of the island. If it's towards the west half of the island, obviously we know the deal there. Yeah, I think Yeah, I think you're right, Torex. I think Montego Bay might be the worst. Savannah Lamar might be a close second. Well, okay, let's see what time it is. Yeah, that was kind of lucky. That big jog off to the west was somewhat of a blessing, because that could have been 1,000 times worse. But it also did allow the storm to strengthen further. Yeah, Kingston would have been really bad. There is a chance, though, that there might have been a few tropical tornadoes over there as well. That's one thing about it. But given the fact that the cameras are still on over there, I would say that damage over there is a lot lighter. A stay of execution. Oh wow. I had a coworker that actually took vacation over there in Jamaica a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think they got a good bit of both, Mama G. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's no running for East Cuba here. They're definitely next. There's not even a question about that. All right, so trying to think, is there anything else we can cover right now? Oh, wow, Lane. Holy cow! Holy cow! Thank you so much for that. I turned, I turned away for just a moment, and then I see that. That is wild. Thank you so much. I was just peering through the socials here trying to get any more data. Only thing I'm finding right now is football stuff. Usain Bolt even said something about Jamaica today. Oh, so here, okay, so I'm starting to find some stuff now, though. So there's some footage from Jamaica Observer, and it's discussing Sangster International Airport. There are ceiling panels missing in the airport. Around the departure lounge, heavy rain was pouring in. Yeah, I'm just now starting to see some of this stuff coming in. This satellite imagery is crazy. Oh, we got another 5. Holy cow. Thanks again, Elaine. I appreciate you. Don't spend all your money up. Don't spend all your money up here. Still got the holidays ahead. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can find just a little bit more in the way of stuff, in the way of updates here, but it looks like they're still just kind of trickling in at this point. I really don't think we're gonna have anything available until way later. I'm still seeing pictures of this eye wall from the hurricane hunters. This has been wild. I figured that they do. I figured that they do. That they'd have those problems with the internet connection or slow internet speeds. Government restriction doesn't help either. But yeah, looking at this satellite here, I'm just like, man, do I dare look at this on Tropical Tidbits where I can see just the extent of how cold those cloud tops are? Because with this infrared, looking at the long wave, we're able to see the energy within it. But do I dare look at this? I feel like Melissa is just cursed in a way. Well, we're all gonna see it together. Wait, hold up, man. No way. Y'all need to see this. Especially you, Torex. Get out, man. Like, this is crazy. It's starting to max out right around that eye wall all over again. This literally is starting to look just like it did before. This is insane, dude. What is this? What even is this storm, dude? I don't even know what to say anymore. These cloud tops have to be somewhere around 52,000 feet or more. Still, if we were to get the archives from when this storm was at max strength, there was pink literally all around this eye wall. It's literally just filling right back in after it went over land. You almost never see this. You would never see this after a first landfall. Like, what is going on with this storm, bro? Like, come on. Get freaking real, man. Do you think hail could be in this? Honestly, I can't rule anything out. We've seen mesovorts in the eye wall when it was at Cat 5 strength. We saw we saw ridiculous amounts of lightning in this thing leading up to the landfall, which is rare. At this point, why not? Testosterone and steroids. Testosterone and steroids. Jeez, Marcy. Lord. Honestly, at this point, I honestly can't rule anything else out. I can't rule anything out. I'm just, I don't know what to say. I genuinely don't know what to say. Elaine, I appreciate you, but you don't have to do that. I do have a PayPal, but there's no need to do that. I appreciate you. Coda said recreational. Yeah, that doesn't. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. Literally, this storm just. I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. Oh no. This is why you beat, because selling those to hurricanes is frowned upon. I think somebody got the memo too late when it came to Melissa. Yeah, I think somebody got the memo just a little too late. Shrooms. We frown upon them. Melissa, those smelling salts, and then she went to the gym. Acid. Sheesh. Not you too, Torex. Well, I guess that confirms that. I mean, I forget which one it was. There was one between like 2008 and 2010 that it went through Texas. I think that was reported to have had hail too, and I know it was definitely weaker than this one. But hail has a lot more to do with convection. Which, well, nah, it was a little earlier than that. I'm thinking somewhere along like Ike Gustav, that era. It was somewhere between 2008 and 2010. Harvey was in 2017. Oh no. You know what? No, y'all are very bad. You guys are. You know what? My chat. I almost want to ground my chat because you guys are going crazy over this one. Wow. On the. Wow, you guys are flipping out over this. I mean, it's funny. I love it, but jeez, man, y'all are naughty. You should go to timeout, man. Mama G's the only one that's really been good. Even Torex has been bad. Y'all are really bad. And honestly, I'd probably have to ground myself, even though I said, even though, well, some people use smelling salts in the gym. I know, I know athletes use smelling salts. I personally have never, but you know, yeah. What happened to chat though? Honestly, what happened to chat? Jeez, I would love to make a joke about that. Y'all are terrible. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Y'all aren't helping. But yeah, I don't think I've ever dealt with smelling salts, Mama G. I don't think I want to either. I honestly wonder why people use it. Like, I wonder why athletes use it. Is it to stave off? Is it to stave off fatigue or what? That's something I'm very curious about. Actually, still don't want to try it. Justin over there double dipping. He said he had all kinds growing wild in his yard. Sounds like you need to cut that grass down, buddy. It's okay, you guys. I'm not really upset about that. If anything, I found it funny. I have a sense of humor, you know. You guys live your best life. That's all I gotta say to that. Don't let me stop you. Okay. Really? Dang. So you gotta be a different type of character in order to deal with that. Oh no. So that's what. Wait a minute. So it smells like ammonia? That's even worse. That's crazy. That is crazy. Fair enough. But that's wild. That's gotta be wild. Oh no, I'm starting to see more and more stuff coming in now. So there's a church over there, the Black River Anglican Church or Anglican. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably botching this, but it was a church that was built all the way back in the 1700s. It's gone. It's awful. So our hurricanes, crazy storms. Yeah, unfortunately, that church is gone. Yeah, the damage looks pretty complete. All right, Elaine, I appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you again for all that you've done. But yeah, don't spend all your money on me here. Appreciate you. Yeah, it essentially made a landfall right over Black River MX. Yeah, so all the strongest winds, the heaviest rain, the storm surge was most intense there. But have a good night, Elaine. Hey, Angela. Okay, I think I'm probably about to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm done looking. I think I'm done looking. Yeah, I think I'm done looking at social media for a bit. I'm starting to see some stuff that's kind of heart wrenching on there now. Okay, so I think we'll end the stream at the top of the hour. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff about people asking about their loved ones. Yeah, I'm gonna stop looking. That one kind of got to me a little bit. I can't lie. People are asking for their loved ones right now, and they can't find them. So, yeah, that kind of got to me a little. But anyway, 30 more time minutes. I'm trying to figure out what to do for the next 30 minutes. Yeah, enough for tonight. I know that I'm gonna have to look at it again, but that one kind of got to me. Yeah, it was it felt like it was. Not really. It's gonna get notably cooler, but that's about it. All right, Justin. Appreciate you tuning in. I don't know. I guess we'll probably try to do a stream tomorrow still, because I do know the Bahamas are under the gun as well. Oh, oh, there goes my hat. We'll just keep it on our head. If we look crazy, we look crazy. It really depends on what time I get off after work. Well, Mama G, she actually sped up to 8 miles an hour. She originally was moving even slower. That's the scariest part. She was at one point moving at 1 mile per hour while she was strengthening. Oh, she went all the way up to 9? I didn't know that. That's not good if she slowed down. That's actually really alarming. But yeah, it was at like 2, 3 miles an hour forever, all the way up until today. But if she's slowing back down to 8, that's a little bit concerning. We don't want to see her stall out again, that's for sure. See if I can fix my hat here. My hair is a mess right now. Yeah, my hat's cooked. I genuinely think my hat's cooked here, folks. I've had this hat, I think, since 18? Yeah, before landfall, it was like 1 mile per hour, I think. Like maybe about 36 or 48 hours before. And that's when she was undergoing rapid intensification. Again, one of the craziest things, and I can't understate this enough, is just how warm the water still is. Like, there's very little sign of upwelling. Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's strengthening again. There's no question about it. She's got her eye back. Still not what it looked like before, obviously, but still. She's trying to get... Yeah, nothing really came through last season in the Caribbean. It was only the Gulf. So, when you put all of that together, and then the wind shear, once it lightened up, we saw what happened. I wonder what the statistics on the ACE will be by the time we get into next year for that area. I would expect to see some crazy numbers. She's trying a new look. No, we don't want you to try a new look. Just go away. Stop hurting people. Seriously. Genuinely, stop hurting people. All I gotta say to that is, man, I can't wait for this storm to be over, because this one's gonna be one to it's gonna be one to reflect on. That's for sure. Getting all kinds of messages on my phone right now too to go with this. Melissa does kind of seem like a diva name, if I'm being fair. So, well, I'm sure if there's somebody amongst my subscribers that is probably named Melissa, might have unsubscribed. I don't think the sub count's gone down, so that's good. We'll just forget that we mentioned that. It'll be like Fight Club. We don't talk about that here. Yeah, it'll be like Fight Club. We ain't no snitches. Uh, Honestly, yeah. It's nothing personal. Well, maybe a little. We don't judge much. That's definitely gonna go live for the Bahamas. Definitely gonna go for the Bahamas. All the Melissas I know wear it like a badge of honor. Nah, I well, I don't expect the hurricane to be named after me. I think if that ever happens, I'd take that a little bit personally, considering the fact that somebody had to be either a looking through the Bible to find my name and just was desperate to and was just desperate to come up with something, or b that was a personal shot at me. No, please no. You know what? Actually, you know what? Screw it. Go ahead. Because typically, we don't get to the T names in a hurricane season. If you actually go by my government name, though, my letter my letter is actually A. So there is that. But did Helen? Oh, did Helen get up on the wrong side of the ocean? Shoot. Helen may have gotten up on the wrong side of the ocean, but she definitely brought the ocean either. I would say that she also brought the ocean with her, unfortunately. But with this one, yeah, Melissa definitely woke up in the wrong side of the ocean, and apparently, according to chat here, they say that she ended up taking a few recreational narcotics. Nestor? Uh, Name has been retired. Has anyone ever met a Nestor? I don't think so. I might have, but if I did, I probably don't remember. No, I've heard of Marcy being on names before, but I don't think Marcy ever got named. Or if it was, then it was a fish storm. I've heard of Sebastian being used as a name before, so there is that. Your name is in the list, but it's spelled wrong. I don't know. Maybe my name could be in a list somewhere, but it's probably spelled wrong. Honestly, I would say that if my name ends up on a list, it probably won't be in the Atlantic. Watch it be somewhere like in the Northwest Pacific, over towards like the Philippines or something like that. I think it would be more likely to be on that side of the world than it would be here. If it happened over here on this side, I'd actually be kind of pissed. Then again, Shiori seems like she's more than content to try to actually put my name up in there. If my name's if my name ends up on a list, it probably won't be. Okay, so we have Nestor, Olga. Pablo, Rebecca, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, and Wendy. I don't see us getting Olga. Then again, you never know. We did shift into a La Nina, which is known for being being historically more active when it comes to tropical activity, even though we're past peak season. So there is that. You're interested in Pablo. Pause? I'm just kidding. Tanya. Oh, Tanya. I see it. I see it now. I just automatically read it as Tanya. I don't know why. You like the name Pablo for the next one. Well, that's assuming that we get there. Imagine Hurricane Windy. If you spell that, if you swap that E with another vowel, that gets pretty ironic, don't you think? That gets awfully ironic very quickly. Hello, Arden. Both your parents' names have been retired. So, part of the reason why I decided to hang out till the top of the hour, so we could also get a look at the next advisory that's coming in. It should be, we should have it available in the next few minutes. Helene, Beryl, Melissa. Okay, that's fair. Milton. Yeah, Milton doesn't seem like an intimidating name. Then again, well, I can't really say that on here. That's more of an Atlanta thing. A lot of people wouldn't know about Milton High. Yeah, a lot of people don't know much about Milton High over here. It's an interesting area, but that's not that crazy though. There's crazier schools still, of course. Little Stony Hill, Rocket Valley. What? Are you from over there? The storm was not nice. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. If you are from over there, thank goodness you're alright, man. I can only imagine if you were there, just what it could have been like, or even if you weren't. Yeah, it was. I've been seeing I've been seeing the pictures and the videos. It's bad. The least threatening name on the list, Teddy. Isaac. Yeah, he's from there. Bob would be funny. Hurricane Lee would be kind of funny too. Yeah, he's from Jamaica. He's from Jamaica, guys. I don't know if he's there right now or if he was there. I know he was there probably. Yeah, we'll keep you in our thoughts, man, because that was a different kind of storm right there. There's no question about it. Well, we haven't gotten a new update yet on Melissa at the moment. We're still waiting on the 11 o'clock advisory to come in. It probably won't come in for another 5 minutes, I'm guessing. Then again, I may just exit out and try to switch over. You're on a 10-step program. So what am I? Alright, so let's see if I can't get that to come in. Nope. Mm. I just had a thought come to me. What if they aren't able to get as many updates because they might not be able to fly over Cuba right now? I know U.S. and Cuban relationships aren't the best. I don't know. Oh, so you were there. My goodness. You were there. Yeah, a lot of those planes have been taken and beating. I can only imagine what it's been like flying through Melissa. That's an interesting sentence. They're insanely tough, but that was an insane storm. But yeah, I'm very concerned that I seriously think that this thing is rapidly strengthening again. I have a very hard time thinking that it isn't. All right, so try one more time. Yeah, I genuinely think that they would have a hard time. Well, no, they should be able to. They should be able to. I think they did cross over West Cuba in order to get a look at her before landfall. So I don't know. Yeah, it really has been, and we're only seeing the early stages of the damage. No, I stopped using Radar Mega earlier this year, Mama G. That was mainly because of the effect that it had on my computer, for the performance that it gave me, regardless, and then the features not quite working right. I just stopped using it. And just went to Weatherwise. For the most part, I'm happy with Weatherwise, but I did hear about Radar Mega upgrading their features. It's not sure if I'm willing to go back to them just yet. Yeah, yeah, I haven't used Radar Mega in, wow, it's already been 6 months. Cause I think it was during the Pi Day weekend is when I stopped using them. Installing the CDO, yeah, everything. A lot of us have compared Melissa to just having a mind of her own. Truthfully, Charles. So yeah, that's a fair assessment, and that's just putting it lightly. Yep, March 14th weekend. That might experience a brief lag spike. OBS has been doing some weird stuff as of late as well. I think my processor's just getting worn down. Yeah, sure. You know what that usually means whenever we have this issue. Yeah, OBS has been doing some weird stuff lately, so frankly, it doesn't surprise me that that happened. Alright, guys, well, I'm gonna have to call it a night soon here. I'm still trying to wait it out and see if we could get this next update in. So you get a lag spike and then you get an ad to follow up. Isn't that something? Sheesh. Well, in all fairness, we do have a Discord server too. To anyone that has a Discord and hasn't joined our server, we haven't been talking in there much, but I'm trying to figure out ways to work around that, but it's been tricky. Certain stuff that I'm trying to get set up to do in the future. But for anyone that is interested, excuse me. For anyone that is interested, though, there it is there. I'm trying to get back into putting more stuff up on there. It's just been really hard to balance everything. Uh, yeah, from what we heard, that's true. But Brandon Kopic was saying I haven't heard anything from Josh in quite a while here. I think he'll be fine, but We always want to be sure. Yeah, the communication infrastructure, I kind of had a feeling it wouldn't last. Thanks, Marcy. Has anyone heard anything from Bryce? Okay, here we go. It just came in literally a couple minutes ago. So this is the latest on Melissa right now. We have a Category 4 storm once again. Max sustained winds at 130 miles an hour. Forward motion is to the northeast at 9 miles an hour. Very little change in track. Sometime tomorrow, we're going to probably see a landfall come in to the Bahamas. Tonight, overnight tonight, I would expect Cuba to deal with its landfall. Oh, they're getting starlights activated tomorrow. That's good. Yeah, I think Paige's is his wife, isn't she? Newest update on the cone, though, however, has Bermuda more so to the right edge of it now, which is good news. Oh, his they're engaged. Okay. Yeah, that has to be horrible. I can only imagine what she's probably thinking right now. Oh, okay. So that was his last message at 6:05. Limited power. Sounds about right. But at least he's okay though. At least he's okay. All right, guys. It's 11 o'clock. I don't know what the day holds for me tomorrow. The plan is, of course, to try to go live to cover the Bahamas. I wish I could cover Cuba, but I don't even have any way to give any visuals as to what's going on there. Uh, but if you know anyone in Cuba, keep them in your. If you know anyone in Cuba, try to keep them ahead of the storm. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers, of course. And then, of course, with Jamaica, obviously we know the situation there. Obviously, keep them in your thoughts and prayers also. And also anyone in the Bahamas too, because they are next in line. So, with that in mind, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. Tomorrow, we'll try to get here as soon as possible so we can be in to cover the event. But until then, everyone have a wonderful